But this week we've had up until yesterday, actually, for the better part of last week, we did have a little bit of a drawdown, a minor dip. If you've been in this space for, I would say even 3 months, 6 months, you would not really be shaken by the dip that we had the last few days. We saw Bitcoin go to about 26 and a half or so, come back up above 27. And now, I mean, just punching right through 28K again, which has been a sticking point and a very key number after we got beyond 25.5K for Bitcoin to where we are now. So before I get into like some of the points I want to get to on like the higher time frames and stuff like that, and some of our favorite personalities on Twitter and what they're thinking about this whole thing, Ewok, what's your impression about most of the price action that we've seen here in March? I got to grill you on this point specifically because, we have video evidence the last few weeks of you saying and agreeing with me prior to when we got there that if we started to close out, I don't know your exact words, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if we started to close consistently over 25K, like 25.5K, you would say, yeah, I'm pretty sure the bear market is over or that the lows are in. We're now pretty far beyond that at this point as far as closing, days in a row way over that number. So what do you think right now? Where are you at with this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting more and more sold on the fact that, the bottom is probably in. However, that doesn't mean we can't have another sizable pullback. And I think it could be inevitable, especially if there is some sort of pivot that happens here shortly. I think there'll be a final capitulation. I really do. But the markets in general look good, and I'm not going to deny that. I don't want to be overly bearish and say, well, we're going to go to 12,000. I don't think that anymore. I do think we could dip down to 17, 20, maybe again, maybe a little bit lower if people have longs that would trigger some cascading closes. It could happen. We could go a little bit below, maybe back down to that 15 level, but it would be quick. I think it would be extremely quick, short-lived, and back off to the races. And we almost need that sometimes. You need to wash those last few people out, the weekends, get rid of them, be gone, and then you can do a full reset and move on to the bear market. So I think it's healthy. I do think we still need a retracement. However, it's looking good. I have to admit that, I think for the most part, we're out of the woods.
Well, that is going to wrap up this edition of the Creative Crypto Podcast. I finally did it. I convinced Ewok to get aboard the bull ship. So, yeah, no, I am with you, though. I mean, like, I've been thinking this since some point in January that it seemed like the lows were in. But I agree with you, too, Ewok, that, like, yeah, we are still in 2023. This is still kind of an accumulation recovery year. So while there'll be days like today where it feels like, oh, yeah, game on, like, up only from here, you will have days like that, but it's going to be kind of, one step forward, two steps back, or vice versa, I think, over the course of this year. And don't get too smacked in the face by it. I mean, like DCA, whatever strategy you want to over the course of the year. But yeah, at the very least, I think we'll see pullbacks to that 25K region again, throughout the course of the year. We just about had it this week. Maybe even as I don't think we'll go below 20 again. But yeah, I could definitely see at some point, a really bad couple of weeks where we do get into the low 20s again, that would freak people out. But yeah, at this point, you can see, and this is what I've been saying, is like some of these pieces of news that are coming out, like we'll talk about this Binance wash trading thing here in a minute. But some of these pieces of news that are coming out are just not being received anywhere nearly as badly as they were in 2022. Now,
Right.
We don't have any FTX blow-ups happening, but we just had banks fail. We just had like 3 crypto banks, Operation Chokehold 2.0, whatever you want to call all this, SEC just setting ablaze to everything. We're having all these things happening, and we're still seeing positive price reaction. So I think
we have to remember those things are good for crypto.
Right.
Banks failing, middlemen failing are so bullish for crypto. They don't trust them. They don't trust the banks anymore. So where are you going to put your money? Where you control it yourself? Well, the only place you can really do that is crypto. So I think that has been beneficial to crypto rather than anything else. It's not bearish for us. Yeah, I mean, for the people that lost money and were way over invested and not paying attention to that FDIC, there's only $250,000 worth of insurance. So for those that didn't break their accounts apart into multiple ones, they potentially could have gotten wrecked. And I'm not sure, with all the things that the government has done in the past 2 weeks too, they've printed like $500 billion, I think, in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So they've basically undone everything that they've been working on the past 6 or 7 months. And it's printing money. So that's another bullish thing. When they print money, it is very bullish for crypto. So a couple of things, they're kind of looking like the world is kind of burning, but it's good for crypto. It's been weird.
HexPassiveIncome.com. My friend Crypto Coffee has created what I think is probably the best course for a new cryptocurrency investor. Not only that, but these courses usually charge an arm and a leg. Crypto Coffee is only charging $200. I think right now he actually has a discount for $150. I have a link below in the description. If you are new to crypto, do not understand Hex and how it works, click the link below. It's a quick, easy course. He only gives you the basics. I personally, myself, have thought about creating an intro to crypto course in the past. I don't think there's any reason to do so because Matt, Crypto Coffee, has already taken care of that. And I don't think anything needs to be added by anybody else. So check it out. The link is in the description and sign up to Hex Passive Income today.
Well, I agree with you 100%, but I think the same thing could be said about, if FTX always had what it had going on, it was also good that happened to wash that out as well. Sure. I guess what I'm saying is I agree with you that these are all long-term bullish for crypto. It's just that the market's short-term, which has always really been meaningless, but the market's short-term reaction is not as extreme really to either side, I don't think, as it was towards the end of 2022, but I'm with you 100%. Yeah. I mean, we are seeing, I think we're at a really interesting pivotal point right now because we've been seeing what's going on with these banks the last couple of weeks. You just mentioned it. I think we agree that we're on the verge of the Fed pivoting. Basically, I don't think we see anything worse. We talked about this last week than one more 25-point rate hike in May. I think that's pretty much as bad as it gets at this point, if not a pause at that time. And, usually have some kind of a drawdown in the markets at that point. But, then it's off to the races. Like you said, they're already printing money again. They just can't help themselves. This is just the way that it is going to go. And this is why Bitcoin and crypto was invented. This is why it's here. And this is why we're seeing this kind of price action right now on this asset class when everything else is garbage, and then look at the news that we saw today. You and I were just sharing it with each other, some of these big countries no longer dealing in USD. Nobody wants to touch the dollar right now. And it's bullish for crypto. So yeah, let me know what else do you think about that? And what did you make of some of this news between, China and Brazil and their dealings? And then the actually bigger one really from earlier today that you sent over to me. China and Russia and other countries as well.
They're settling oil payments in, I don't know if it was the yen or whatever it was, but not the yen. I don't remember.
Yuan or whatever. Yeah.
Maybe it was. Whatever their Chinese currency is. But they're not using US dollar for a lot of things between the countries to settle their own payments. So it's going to be interesting.